Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on Variant, it's another epic battle with Martian Manhunter versus Vision. Welcome to Variant. We love comics more than gargoyles deserves a new cartoon series. I'm your host, Arris. Before I talk about today's episode, I want to let you guys know, in honor of next month being the 4th of July, we're dubbing all of July Heroes Month here on Variant. So all July long, we will be focusing on the guys and girls in tights who saved the day. So villains and anti-heroes will have to wait till August, because July is all about the heroes who are good through and through. But as for today's episode, people have been watching this channel for a while now know I've done a bunch of versus episodes over the years, like Batman versus Iron Man, Hulk versus Doomsday, Flash versus Quicksilver, and so on. And ever since I started doing versus episodes, I've got a bunch of requested matchups, but one of the most popular requests is hands down Martian Manhunter versus Vision. So since I agree that this is an awesome match, and clearly a lot of you wanted me to do it, I present to you Martian Manhunter versus Vision. Now, I've already done a history of episode for both Martian Manhunter and Vision, so I'm just going to briefly go over their origin and backstory for each character, and then move on to what the fight is all about, their powers. But if you want a more in-depth look of each character's history, I put the links for their history of episodes in the description. Also, in the title card things, right there. Anyway, let's start things off with John Jones, aka Martian Manhunter's backstory. I'm going to talk about the New 52 rendition of Martian Manhunter, since that's what's current. In the New 52, the Martian race is a telepathic race that is in full commune with one another, as well as the planet itself. Green-skinned and white-skinned Martians live in peace, unlike in past DC continuity. John is supposed to become the next leader of his people, and so must undertake a rite of passage where he must detach himself from his people and understand what it's like to truly be alone. Because the Martian race had no such concept, as it was a very communal race, and John needed the training in order to lead his people. Upon his return, John finds that his planet was burning with not much left but ashes. Not a single psychic presence could be felt. John was now truly alone, standing in the burning ruins of the paradise he once knew. John adapted the name Manhunter, as he is now alone and in search of the being behind his misery, and he eventually does end up tracking down the being that destroyed his planet. He follows the being to Earth and finds out it's a body-hopping telepath named Thoth, whose infectious, poisonous thoughts wiped out the Martian civilization. As Martian Manhunter tries to kill the telepath, its consciousness escapes and is set loose on Earth. John later becomes the leader of the Justice League of America team. As for Vision's comic book origin, Vision was created by Ultron to use against his own creator, Hank Pym. He was named for being the Vision of Perfection. The Avengers believe that the Vision's body was created from the original Human Torch, the android Jim Hammond, not to be confused with the Fantastic Four's Human Torch, Johnny Storm. The patterns of his synthetic brain were based on that of the deceased Wonder Man. The Avengers would later learn that when Lord Immortus harnessed the power of the Forever Crystal to split the original Human Torch into two separate entities, one body remained the original Human Torch, while Ultron used the other body to create Vision. Once Vision was created, he almost immediately rebelled against his creator and joined the Avengers, and became a distinguished member of Earth's mightiest heroes. But now that you know a little bit more about their roots, let's see what these heroes' powers are, and as you will see, their powers are very similar, hence this being such a good matchup. Let's start with the Vision, since, well, I'm already talking about him. The solar jewel on the Vision's forehead absorbs ambient solar energy to provide the needed power for him to function, because as we all know, he's an android. He is also capable of releasing the energy as optic beams. With this, he can fire beams of infrared and microwave radiation. In extreme cases, he can release this same power through the solar jewel itself, which amplifies its destructive effects. The Vision is able to fly and possesses complete control over his density, enabling him to render himself intangible or extraordinarily massive and diamond hard at will. I hear he's very popular with the ladies. The Vision often uses his ability to alter his density against foes by phasing an intangible hand through them and then partially rematerializing. Being an artificial life form, Vision possesses multiple superhuman senses, as well as superhuman stamina, reflexes, speed, agility, and strength. The Vision was trained in unarmed combat by Captain Freaking America and is an expert in combat use of his superhuman powers. Now let's talk about Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter basically has an endless amount of power, so I won't be able to mention them all, but I will give you a good overview. The Martian Manhunter possesses vast amounts of superhuman strength comparable to that of Superman's strength, making him one of the physically strongest beings in the DC universe. John can further supplement his strength by increasing his size. His great strength has also been shown by his ability to harm Superboy Prime. For those of you who don't know, that's a feat in itself. I mean, John could stand toe-to-toe with Superman in a fight, not to mention he has held his own against the entire Justice League by himself. He has a ton of other powers like invulnerability, flight, super speed, stamina, regeneration, shapeshifting, intangibility, invisibility, telepathy, telekinesis, Martian vision, Martian breath, sonic scream, x-ray vision, and the list goes on, but I'm out of breath. Now that I've laid out what each character is capable of, it's time for me to tell you who I think would win. I think the winner would be Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter, in my humble opinion, is superior to Vision. And don't get me wrong, I love Vision, and they both are very similar in power sets, but also kinda different. For example, they each phase in different ways. John is more of a dimensional shift, while Vision alters his density to the point he becomes intangible or hard as a diamond. But in the long run, I think Martian Manhunter wins. Vision isn't even close to his level of strength. It'll go on for a while as each adapts to the other's form of intangibility, but one way or another, Martian Manhunter is gonna win. I mean, he held his own against the entire Justice League, which has two of DC's strongest characters on it, Superman and Wonder Woman. But as always, that's just my 2 cents, so I want to see what the majority of you guys think. So I posted a poll on our Variant Facebook page for you guys to vote who you think would win, and I'll post the winner in the description of next week's episode. When you buy a domain name from domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and easy to use. The guys at domain.com gave Variants an awesome offer. Get 15% off domain.com's already affordable domain names and web hosting when you use the coupon code Variants at checkout. So when you think domain names, think domain.com. First up for Wednesday, June 24th, we have X-Men 92 issue 1. Putting this simply, everyone's favorite version of the X-Men from the 90s is back. If you were a fan of the 90s X-Men cartoon or comic series, this is a must-read. Here we have Spawn issue 253. The return of Al Simmons continues, and in this issue, Al goes to a place he vowed he would never go, his childhood. Now we have Superman issue 41. The new storyline Truth continues, and apparently a big secret is revealed. And finally, we have We Are Robin issue 1. Spinning out of the pages of Batman, the teenagers of Gotham City have adopted the R and made it their own. A new Robin? No, hundreds of new Robins. And that brings another episode of Variant to a close. But remember to stop by our store to get your very own Variant t-shirt. I put the links for that in the description below. But as always, you can like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. And if you like the videos you've seen, be sure to subscribe to our channel. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics.
My favorite Batman comic book is Batman Hush.
My favorite Batman comic is Batman Endgame.
My favorite Batman comic book would probably be the first New 52 Batman comic book.
My favorite Batman comic is Batman Year One, because that was Frank Miller at his prime. I really love The Dark Knight Returns, but Year One is my favorite one.
My favorite Batman comic book was The Killing Joke. It was a well thought out story, and I like the artwork.